What does your job ask you to hide from the customers? I worked at a UPS store on a military base. When packages came back to us for whatever reason, we always told UPS that we'd donate the contents to on-base thrift store. We'd keep office supply stuff. But that never happened. One cat packaged all his belongings at our store and shipped them prior to leaving for deployment. This was at the start of the Afghan war. He didn't check his shipping label right, and about 3 weeks after it shipped it came back to us as denied RTS. We held it for a few months, expecting him to come back. After waiting, my boss told me to open it up and take whatever I wanted out of it. Trash everything else. So, I opened it and it was like a dream come true. Every gaming system, stacks of games, expensive watches, all sorts of good crap. It didn't feel right. Went in on my day off after hours, looked more inside the box. Found a small address book with numbers. Got in contact with his parents and explained who I was, how I got their numbers, etc. Ended up generating a label that night for it and shipped all this guy's stuff out on the store's dime. Boss was pissed as hell with me for doing that. As a tattoo artist, oftentimes apprentices at the end of their apprenticeship will start to tattoo paying customers, walk-ins, and for a few tattoo shops, the apprenticeships are much shorter than they need to be. So if you're getting tattooed but someone who seems to be young or they seem inexperienced, they probably are, and they're probably still in their apprenticeship. But the shop will tell you they're actual artists. Do your research when thinking about getting a tattoo, and don't be afraid to wait months, or even years, for the right artist for you. It'll save you from really crappy tattoo. We sell software and we have a page that has instructions for setting it up Linux servers, but that's basically all we know about the OS and as much as any of us actually care to learn it. If asked, the going policy is that our Linux specialist is out this week, but we'll totally refresh what we know by going over the page with you. I've worked at 2 fast food restaurants in my life. At each one, the only time that food safety protocol was followed or enforced was the day that the health inspector was coming to grade us. Edit. I should also note that both stores received 100% every time the health inspector came. Edit 2. Obviously every restaurant is different. It all comes down to management. The stores I worked at were all about getting food out the door as fast as possible, with the smallest number of people working as possible. That leads to cutting corners. Not all restaurants, even fast food, are like that though. My point in posting was that even though they appear clean, or have a high score posted for their health inspection, that doesn't mean they're following all of the guidelines set in place for them. Cell phone store. Customers returned perfectly good phones all the time. We were told to sell the boxes as brand new, first time activations and purposefully leave out the fact that they had, in fact, already been activated and taken home within 48 hours. I'd be pissed if I bought a phone full price and it was even slightly used. I let those phones get dusty and would never sell them just to spite that stupid policy. You'll be amazed at how good construction workers become at hiding flaws. It's quite nearly a part of the job description and a large reason why so much of construction effort is put towards cosmetics, beyond the fact that most people just don't want to be looking at a bunch of rough-in work that's functionally the same but aesthetically atrocious. Our sales prices are just normal prices. Had to stock some pressure washers a few months back. They're $199 each when scanned. The next day I have to put up more, scan them and they show up as $279 each. Couple weeks later they're on sale for $199 each. I work in a deli and bakery currently. All of our food is from frozen, and they want me to call it fresh baked in store every day. Dude, it was frozen for 3 months, thawed for an hour and then cooked. It's no better than anything else you get from the freezer section, and in many cases the freezer section is higher quality stuff. Not now, but back when I worked as an aide at a nursing home, we were forbidden from telling patients we were short-staffed. We were, and it was the fault of administration because they were trying to save money, but literally the residents would be yelling at us because their shower was late or whatever and we were supposed to just act like it was because we were lazy. Weren't allowed to tell them it was because I had the entire wing by myself. The administrator was sick of having angry family members calling to complain and decided we should take the brunt of it instead. Let's just say our technology doesn't come close to meeting its process guarantees, but we can give a customer a phone book sized excuse of why it's their fault. I can't tell which of our vendors this is. Any. Literally any. The restroom. I work at a small privately owned pet store. It's the most trashy store ever, and the bathroom is a room with a toilet, water heater and buckets. To use it you have to go through the back room, which is where we keep the rats and stuff. Basically it's employees only. Well, one lady asked to use the restroom. We let her and she stole a turtle that was being soaked in the sink on her way out. We caught her stuffing it in her bra, but she got away. Now if a customer asks if we have a bathroom, I have to say no. Not in my current job, but when I worked in retail, we had to process waste food off the floor. Waste food being fresh items that had been reduced on their use-by date, and then wasted or removed from our stock level. Because the company didn't want customers to see how much food was wasted, it was a lot. We could process damaged items on floor or items that had been taken out of the fridges and dumped elsewhere by customers, but not out-of-date or end-of-life products. We did trial giving our waste food to a local homeless shelter, but head office stopped it because it wasn't viable, which I took to mean there wasn't any money in it for head office, so I pushed them and they then said they were worried there might be lawsuits against the company for giving out-of-date food to people. We could accidentally poison somebody, etc. I'm talking trolleys of food. Liquids were poured away and written off. Food was placed in bin bags and thrown in huge bins around the back of the store that were locked to stop people digging through it. Some of my colleagues would pour bleach or industrial strength floor cleaner over it too. I had a problem with wasting so much food and thought the excuses head office gave for not allowing us to donate was rubbish. It was all about the bottom line for them. The company itself makes a lot of noise about how environmentally friendly and green they are, and how much work they do for charity, when behind the scenes it wasn't like that at all. They had a really crappy attitude towards their staff in general too. I was glad to get out of there. Food retail is the worst retail sector to work in. Everything. Where do I even start? Really, the only thing I'm allowed to tell the customers is this spiel about the place and where the restroom is. I really wish I could help people more than I can, but management actually trained me to actively hide things from people. Literally, I'm supposed to make the customers' lives harder. If I don't do it to management's approval, they go and hide even more things. Then again, I work in an escape room. They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. At the hotel I worked at, if a guest found a stray bed bug, all staff were instructed to neither confirm nor deny that it was an actual bed bug. Word games were not fun. I experienced that firsthand. Went to a convention that was infested with cockroaches. Collected a few in a cup, and went to the front desk to complain. They reassured me that what I saw was just harmless water bugs and that there were no roaches anywhere in the hotel. None. Zero. Nada. Had to ask them if they'd be fine with me releasing these harmless bugs in the lobby, and the moment I said that they froze, and realized there was nothing they could say or do. I worked for Disney Store. We had a book of words we could use, like if it was hot, we had to say it was pleasantly warm, etc. I hated it. My last job was a white labeled help desk. You had to hide the fact that your company existed at all from the customer. You had to pretend you were from whatever company the customer was using for their IT. Pretty common for MSPs, especially when reaching out to third-party support for an application. Way easier to say, I'm from name of client company, than say I'm from MSP name, then having to deal with needing to get someone else from the client company on the line, have them approve you to access their account, etc. From working at various internet service providers, they all like to hide the same information. 1. We lose money or break even on TV. HBO, Showtime, etc. are profitable, which is why we try and sell it to you. We used to make money on TV and we may make money on 1 or 2 packages, but most TV is sold at price or underpriced because channels just demand that much money. 2. We pay between $15 to $35 in bulk for our set-top boxes. Yes, those boxes we charge you $X.99 a month to rent and $100 to replace if you don't return them. STBs are pure profit, and we will reuse them at an average of 5 customers' houses during their lifetime. Does not apply to DirecTV, which pays $60 to $80 bulk and charges $200. 3. Depending on the company, we are trying to sell you something at all times, because it means extra money in our pocket or automatic termination if we don't sell people enough add-ons. 4. The call center environment has a turnover rate only matched by World War I infantry combat casualty rates, and it's often worse, so the people you're talking to tend not to be knowledgeable, because such people either burn out, get promoted, or they are in sales. 5. There are parts of any city or area we don't care about. We are not sorry to see you go. We are happy because it means no more calls from the 1950s infrastructure that dies every week, which we won't replace because it will be a $2 million investment for 6 people at the end of a 4-mile long country road. We want you to leave so we can remove that street from our service area. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos and don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it.